This is the February 13th, 2023 meeting of the Merrimack Conservation Commission. Before we start, Dave, would you sit in and vote for Cindy?
Yes, thank you.
Mike, would you do the same for Eric?
Yeah.
All right. We don't have any public hearings scheduled tonight, so we'll just move right into new business. The first item up for discussion under new business is a discussion about Wildcat Falls, signage funding. Mike, you want to present what?
Sure. Andrew, you want to come join us on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on up.
And I think everyone here probably knows Andrew Dwayne. Andrew, if you would just state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Andrew Duane, representing the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee. I live at 10 Dwyer Street in Merrimack.
So I guess the first thing we'll go over are the signs requested for the parking lot. There were 4 signs. No
Yes.
parking at any time, 2 signs for those, and 2 no parking between signs. Did I get
Yes.
that right?
Yes, so along the left-hand side of the parking lot, which borders directly on a wetland, we try to discourage parking. There had been a single no parking sign up there, which disappeared at some point. We would like the town to install 4 signs along a 150-foot stretch of the side of the parking lot. 2 on the ends that say no parking between signs, and 2 more in the middle that say no parking this side. And the total cost, as per Mike, was just under $170 from the town.
Correct.
And that's for the signs, the post, and I assume the installation.
I think the town, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the town's going to do it. They just want us to pay for the signs and the posts.
Okay.
That's what I gather. Yeah, and this was about 4 weeks ago, so if we could put in a cushion, if the signs have gone up $5 a piece or something.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, pay for the posts and the signs?
Yep, there are 4 posts, 4 signs.
And which side would this be for again? I would just want to make
As
sure
you
I'm
pull in the driveway on the left-hand side, because there's wetlands literally 2 or 3 feet off the parking lot, and there's concern about cars contaminating the wetlands.
Yeah, and the cars that back up, that park there on the right side, they sometimes can get boxed in by the cars that park on the other side.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't happen.
It is possible, if you're not paying attention, to just back into one of the cars that's there.
So if that's gonna be like 170, we could get a motion not to exceed 200 for the signs. Is there any discussion on? One thing I do want to bring up is, I don't think we're talking about that today, but you had, you gave us the, for the future, parking lot expansion examples.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I won't discuss it today because it's not on the agenda, but I would like to bring up the fact that in the near future, we're going to have to make some decisions about long-term parking options at Wildcat Falls. Almost every day, the parking lot is full. On an even halfway decent weekend, the parking lot is overflowing into the surrounding community again. And we all remember what happened the last 2 summers with that. I had previously presented a few options for expansion on site, only one of which is really quite reasonable given what's going on. There was another option about expansion at the ball fields off West Chamberlain Road, which would then involve a pedestrian bridge across the Souhegan River. It's very expensive, but that would provide endless long-term parking options. So it's something we should gather information on and discuss.
Yeah, that's been,
It's certainly not a topic that's new to us. I don't even know how we would begin that discussion. Would that start with public hearings? When was the last time? It's been
Well,
contentious every time we've.
there are other options I mean, that's probably not gonna happen in the near future.
Right. There's another potential option we discussed once with the high school about using their rear lot during the summer when school is not in session, when our peak traffic is. Because there is an easy trail connection to Wildcat Falls from there. But we were turned down, I think, due to liability concerns.
Yeah, it's, the problem is you never, well, we say, yes, you can only use it during the summer. Oh, I can park there? They park there. And during the school year, doing school events, doesn't matter, they park there. So that's, the schools always had a kind of a long-standing, the only one we get away with at all is the upper lot at Greater Woods, the middle school.
Anyway, at some point, we will have to have a discussion about this. I had prepared previously a set of those 5 options, and I had a couple copies here if somebody wanted to look at them. But most of them are just really short-term fixes that add a small number of extra spaces. One of which is now, would be along the side where we're putting the no parking sign, so that one is of course out.
What's the status of the bridge? Merrill's Marauders, under the Mother Merrill's Marauders Bridge? The footbridge.
Oh, I have no idea.
So we talked about it. We spoke about it during our presentation, our annual presentation to the town council. I know Kyle had put together some numbers. And it was on a short list of items if grant monies were made available. I don't know how short that short list
We can
is.
put that one on the bridge list, huh?
What was it? It was substantial. It was $750,000, I think, right? It would take a new bridge. I think he had determined that repairs to the existing Merrill's Marauder Bridge just,
And I assume it would be a similar cost for a bridge from the ball fields.
probably more because the bank, the work on the bank would have to be done. There's at least a footprint.
True.
Yeah, I
And
don't-
abutments and so forth where the Merrill's Marauder Bridge is.
Yeah, that was a pretty substantial span and height. I'm not sure if the ball field would be, I don't know. I don't know what the span is. It's, I don't envision it being longer than the other one. And the ball certainly is much less.
Yeah, the length is roughly the same, but as you mentioned, there are already the 2
Yeah.
abutment footprints by Merrill's Marauder, which mean we would just need the span instead of construction and site prep work to do that.
Well, we can, it's, if anyone remembers where that other bridge came from, it was a freebie. So,
Yeah.
keep, as you're reading,
I think it was up in Colebrook or Littleton.
I thought it came out of Maine, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just
Ports-
up north.
Or
Anyway,
Yeah.
Portsmouth, yeah. I mean, just because there's civil projects going on and they, that was getting helicoptered off to the dump. So they actually saved them some money by dropping it here. So,
can we put a Craigslist ad up looking at 70-foot bridge?
And aside from the abutments, it was easy to deliver that to the site
Yeah.
too. If we look at something more remote, then
yeah,
you'd have to construct it.
right.
Well, can we get, you want to continue with something?
Well, I was just going to slightly change the subject also while we're talking about the DPW. The riprap for the erosion control on the Falls Loop Trail. I took Mike out, we surveyed the area, and we really need 1 or 2 drainage swales constructed there, which are basically just trenches, large trenches filled with material called riprap, 4 to 6 inch road fill. I reached out to a local landscape material place, got a quote for that, which is for 2 yards, which would be 2 drainage swales, $158. So, not a substantial cost, but we would need DPW involved to dig the trenches.
You met Karen, kind of walked that with you too, right? And recommended that some time ago?
Yeah, they have attempted to regrade it 1 or 2 times, and the regrading buys us 1 season, and then it just erodes again.
So we have $158 for the riprap.
Right.
And approximately $170 for the 4 no parking signs.
How would the riprap get to where it needed to be?
We'd have to have DPW bring it in. 2 yards is approximately 4,000 pounds of stone.
So that, could they deliver it though to open
Well,
the
they'll
gate?
deliver. I'm not entirely sure if their delivery would involve, driving into Wildcat Falls. We can certainly get a truck in there, open the gate for them.
At least get it at the bottom of the
Right.
hill.
This is at that first little
That,
ramp,
that uphill
right,
on
right close to the entrance.
yeah, on the fire access
Right.
road that goes up to the power lines.
So this price is without delivery?
This is with delivery.
With delivery.
To Merrimack. I don't think they specified any further than that.
And what's the company?
I worked with Solano Landscaping in Amherst. The local Merrimack landscaping supply doesn't seem to have riprap.
Might be worthwhile just checking with the town. I mean, they,
About
They
getting the
certainly
riprap?
use a lot of it.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure buy literally
Yeah.
tons of it. Might
I
be,
can't remember. We can check.
it's something that we
I
can
mean, we could,
talk to Kyle and ask.
we could approve, I mean, we already talked with the town about the signs.
Yeah.
We could approve,
When that happened. That's probably why I didn't respond my email.
Yeah, Kyle left in
Kyle's gone, yeah.
January.
And the town might have some, though. I guess it's worth asking. So,
I mean, they
I
use
thought we
it
talked-
anytime they regrade a road or
They may
build a
want
new
us to
bridge.
pay for the material. Well, we can look, let's put that one off. We can put that one off to the next meeting and then, but vote on for the signs this meeting.
Obviously, they could get in there and dig now probably, but the ground's pretty hard. We can wait.
And I actually suggest not digging until the riprap is ready,
Right.
because digging it would make the trail somewhat hazardous.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
It's their
Yeah, I like,
area town.
can we have a motion to approve 2 no parking between signs and 2 no parking anytime signs and 4 posts for a price not to exceed $190?
Second.
motion by Mike, seconded by Mike.
Fund 53?
Is this something that's enforceable by the police?
So, it's on conservation line, is it? I don't know if this was a technicality there, probably.
Well, that was one of the reasons that we couldn't get them couldn't stop the parking problem initially. Because there was no,
Well, they got signs all around, up and down that street now.
Yeah.
Because the neighbors weren't very happy.
Okay, Mike, just for the minutes, no parking this side, no parking between signs, 2 each.
No parking between signs,
Mhm.
no parking anytime.
No parking anytime. Thank you.
Why was it? Do you remember? It was non-enforceable because there wasn't an ordinance.
there was, yes. So that was my understanding of it.
I think the issue may have been that we wanted to limit parking to Merrimack residents only. And without specific signage, there was no way for them to enforce that. It was no parking or parking. So, but I do remember that, and there was some question about whether they could even enforce the Merrimack residents only. And I'm not sure what happened. But since COVID has mostly abated, the crowds are at least manageable, but the parking lot does overflow on a regular basis.
Where does it overflow onto? Back into Courier?
Yeah, usually onto the surrounding roads, but it's a small handful of cars rather than the entire length of both streets, which is what it used to be. It's unfortunate that Wildcat Falls has suffered from its own popularity. Maybe we did too good a job there.
The internet.
Yeah.
So.
Do we
take a
want
vote.
further discussion, anyone? No, seeing no desire for further discussion.
by the way.
Mike doing. Seeing no desire for further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries
Am I voting?
7-0.
Am I voting?
Yes.
Okay.
you.
Now, Andrew, do you have any news on the sign, the Wildcat?
Oh, yes. It was noticed last week that our sign has been taken, the big wooden road sign by the entrance road. And it was not storm damage. I examined the crossbar that it was attached to. Someone took a wrench and removed the sign. And I guess there's a small chance DPW took it for maintenance. There's a small chance I won the lottery last night also.
So,
I
Well,
don't really know what to do about that.
Where did it come from originally? Didn't DPW make it?
It
probably.
just kind of appeared. It's a big sign. It probably weighs on the order of 200 plus pounds. So this was not a drunk kid late at night. This was an organized taking the sign home. It's roughly the size of this table.
Yeah.
I don't know how we get another one made or what. Do we want the police to investigate? I guess it's worth checking with DPW to see if they did actually.
And it is town property, so
Yeah.
we need to bring the police into it.
The
regardless.
police definitely need to know
Right.
about it.
We should check with TPW first to make sure that's not being painted or something.
All right,
Okay, I'll contact the DPW about that.
okay.
Make sure they don't have it.
And then do you want me to contact the police or will you?
Let's see what DPW says first, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, if they say they don't have it, then we should
Yeah, you should
contact
go,
the
yeah,
police.
let Tom,
I'd call the town manager's office and let him check with DPW, and then if it's not, if DPW doesn't have it, then he can get the police involved. So
Okay, so,
I would just call the town manager's office.
okay.
And if you need, for some reason, I have a couple of pretty good pictures of what the sign looked like and how it was attached. So.
We covered everything we needed to with Wildcat Falls.
You good? Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew, for coming.
Thank you.
And Andrew, I don't know if you heard when you came in, those are new Wildcat Falls maps over there if you want to take a handful.
I just gave them.
Excellent.
These were the maps, I actually just found a box of them. We go through them by the summer.
If we bring maps to the Winter Carnival, they'll get handed out.
Heard that the NRPC is trying to reprint newer maps with newer information. So we'll just run these out.
Okay, the next item we had on the agenda was a review of the our meeting submission schedule and an update and just a little bit of the background on this. We pushed our meetings to, we talked about this, we moved them all to the second and fourth Mondays from the first and third. But what we didn't do was push back all the preceding dates. So we had gotten, you may have noticed on the calendar, are like 3 weeks between when the agenda was due according to our calendar and the submittal date before the meeting. It's kind of tough to live up to. I think Ellen and I struggled to get this thing finalized. We're
Frankly,
down to the wire
I had not been
every
aware
week.
of the public notice requirement, the length of it, but we know now.
So
this is the accurate.
this is what we're proposing, unless someone sees a fatal flaw with this. This is what we would move it to. So it goes back to, the submittal deadline is 2 weeks prior to the meetings.
Well, I assume those dates are set in accordance with right-to-know laws or other statutes, so we may not have a whole lot to say about it.
Certainly, the public hearing one is.
Okay.
Yeah, they all are, but there is no statute that says we have to submit 3 weeks prior to a meeting. That date simply didn't move when we adjusted our schedule. Unless someone sees a glaring error, we'll go ahead and adopt this schedule. I'll let Stephanie know that we've adopted this. I'll also, we probably need to make an update. I think the town webpage actually says we still meet on the first and third Mondays of the month, so I think Stephanie's the one that has the access to correct that, right? No one here does. No. Okay, the next one is, participation in the 2023 Winter Carnival. So the Winter Carnival is gonna be held on Saturday, February 25th at Wasserman Park, from noon to 3. The actual event is noon to 3. Mike Drewen and I went to this last year. Last year, the weather could not have been better. We had snow like the Friday before. Everything was beautiful. There was a whole herd of kids sliding down the thing. You know, it was well attended, and because it was warm that day. Although the event is noon to 3, there's a setup requirement. You did all the setup last year. The deadline to register for the event is this coming Friday. I don't know, is anyone able to attend this? Do we want to register for this? Do we want to have an attendance at this event?
I'll do it.
We have one
Shovel
taker.
this time?
Hmm?
Do I need a shovel this time?
They did. Did you shovel that all last year or okay. Is anyone else able to join Mike at this event?
You want to
I
go?
can't commit to being in town.
Mm-hmm.
Drink some hot cocoa?
Okay, I will go ahead and register us. Of course, you know this, Mike, because you did it last time, but there are some props, some exhibit type things in the closet. Are you able to get those? Getting here during the week while they're open is, I struggle with that.
Do we still have a duck box down there?
I last
checked 2 We months have- ago. Yeah.
We did.
We did.
Okay.
And we have 6 duck boxes in the basement of this building.
Oh, all right.
That I've been reminded 3 times to try to move from the finance department somewhere. Probably at this point, maybe it should go to one of our garages because we're probably gonna want to put a couple of those up here. Hopefully we'll have some ice to do that with.
It's pretty marginal right now.
I want to call someone before you go walking out on the ice.
Yeah, I don't know if there's,
It was all right Saturday morning, really.
were you on it?
Is the participation in the carnival the sort of thing we want to put up on, like, announcements on social media and such? Because I know the town will do the carnival, but do we want to mention that the Conservation Commission will have a presence there, come check things out?
Yeah,
Things like
certainly.
that.
Okay, I will go ahead and register us tomorrow. If they give us a booth number or whatever, I'll make sure you have that.
Did we bring the table or?
No, they had the table, they set it up. And hopefully the weather will be as good as it was last year. It was very well attended last year. Winter Carnival. So this last item, George May from the Lower Merrimack River Advisory Committee. I apologize, this probably shouldn't have gone on the schedule. He had reached out about being on a town council meeting agenda. I tried to connect with him, we just don't have his, I wasn't able to. I'm still trying to track down a phone number for him, so it was premature to put this on this agenda. As soon as I reach him, I'll contact him and invite him to one of our future meetings, and he can come talk to us about his proposal.
Yeah, in addition to the Lower Merrimack River Advisory Committee, he also spoke about the Sauhegan River Local Advisory Committee. So there's vacancies on both, and they're looking for volunteers that want to go out and test the water a couple times a month. He can speak to it much more detail, but just from what he told the town council, if someone is interested in volunteering and sitting on either one of those committees, again, if you get a hold of the town manager's office, they'll let you know what you need to do to be considered for either one of those committees.
I'm a volunteer for the water collection, and I can tell you, we're always looking for people. There are certain specific locations. Sklar is one. I collect from the Greeley Park boat ramp in Nashua, all along the Sauhegan, and parts of the Merrimack, and that's how we know in the summer what the E. coli counts are, whether things are safe for swimming, and dissolved oxygen, which affects the fish. So volunteers always welcome.
Could you speak just briefly to the time commitment that is, so people?
It is, pre-COVID, it was done weekly in the summer, June, July, August. During COVID, it stopped. Last year, they let us do it every 2 weeks. So it could possibly be every couple of weeks. And it took me the time to drive to the Greeley Park boat ramp. Actually taking the samples is 5 minutes, and then driving them to the wastewater treatment plant and leaving them in the lab. So half hour to an hour.
And both of those committees meet once a month. So,
Yeah, since I was named to the Lower Merrimack one, we have not had a meeting yet, but so you know, I came in late in the process. They have drafted a report that as soon as there is a meeting, I'll know more about the vote. But it involves Bedford, Merrimack, Nashua, and Litchfield about suggestions for use of the river. And I was telling Mike Druin before the meeting, Sklar Waterfront Park gets a lot of respect. And I'm looking forward to seeing the final version, but it's basically about keeping the river a good resource for everyone who's using it and expanding the number of people who know about it and care about it. They actually did a survey, and some of the people surveyed did not know what that body of water was on the east edge of town, which makes me go, what? But
Are the collection bottles like provided and
Yes.
labeled and everything?
Yep. And there will be, like, my training was with George May at Wildcat Falls for half an hour one Saturday.
Well, thank you. Other business, 2023 seedling order. It's been placed. It's been
So
ordered.
you're gonna wanna read your email.
Oh, no.
Just total failure. So the
Really?
check was sent, but not the order, and it's, so they've got basically nothing left. They're gonna send the check back because we've got nothing to buy. So I'm gonna see if we can find some other place to get something. But it's not looking good this
Oh,
year.
no. Is
So,
this a recent email? I didn't see.
yeah, it came today.
How many do we usually get?
It depends on the types, but we usually get somewhere 300 to 500 plants. Well, 350 at least. That was just, we haven't been under 3 for years.
All right, well, is there better news about trail signs?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, so it's, I'd like to purchase, go down and get the materials for the trail signs. And you all got something from Lowe's there. This was several weeks ago. I would like to change, because I see more signs coming, I would like to change the number from 6 to 7, which would increase the price by $15 or $16 or something. So it's it's 110 now, so it'd be 126. Yeah, and he does a wonderful job with the signs. Yeah, and I'm sure Horst Hill's looking forward to getting a bunch of them. So yeah, if we get the material and get it over to him, he'll start making them. I met with him last week with Scott, and he's ready to go.
His last name, I'm sorry.
Simpson. So I guess I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I like to, again, since this was several weeks ago, I would like to have a buffer. So if this is 126, could I say not to exceed $150 for 7-seater, 1x6 by 8-seater boards and 2 pounds of 3-inch decking screws?
Motion by Mike,
Out of
second
Fund
by
53, I'm sorry.
Mike Druin, out of Fund 53. Anyone like to have further discussion on this item? No? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for putting together those quotes. Really, all the items under other business, everyone, I'm sure, noticed that there was this packet of communication in their folders. Not really an item for us to act on now. I know we've talked about this. This is regarding that parcel between Wildcat Falls and the Everett Turnpike.
40 acres.
Yeah, is that the size of it? I'm not sure
Okay.
the size of it. It's the state
One
tract of
Tim
land.
Tim was sending an email of,
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
How big did you say?
I was thinking it's 40 acres. That's a number I heard.
And Paul did what we had asked. He, on behalf of the town, he asked, DOT what the status of that was, whether the time was right now to either grant an easement or allow us to acquire that parcel. Basically, the feedback, if you read through this, you saw that there is another project that may have to use that same piece of land for mitigation down the road. They didn't expect that an answer would be known for 5 years, whether or not it'll be needed. So it sounds like, although not dead, this issue is backburnered at least for a few more years. So when that project comes up, one of us will have to remember. And if not, Tim will probably remind us again. That's all the other business items we have.
Did we make any requests to the town for any tree removal on any trails at all?
Several.
Have we done that?
I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I intentionally want to wait 2 weekends after those wicked storms, because stuff is getting
Yep.
cleaned up.
There's a lot down.
Yeah, and so just I have a list of the big stuff, so if you know of anything that's not on that list that you saw in the email,
Okay.
there is another 1 or 2 that got added. Let me know as soon as you can. And same thing, Forest Hill has trees that the town needs to cut. You let me know, because I'm gonna ask Lori, I'm gonna send that in probably tomorrow. I can wait till Wednesday if you want, or
We're gonna need some treads for Greater Woods.
some treads.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The catwalk got hit directly.
Oh,
So
okay.
the bridge is okay, but the catwalk is,
Yeah, down by the classroom,
Yeah.
outdoor classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming.
Yeah.
Oh, what a mess.
Brings us to approval of the minutes for December 12th.
I move that we approve the minutes of the December 12th, 2022 meeting with the following corrections.
Second.
Motion
Sorry,
by
that
Ellen.
engaged you, Andy, thank you.
Andy?
All right, who has comments? I looked them over. I don't have any comments. All right, it sounds like there are no comments, so all those in favor of approving the minutes? All right, motion carries 6-0. to 0. Mike Druin abstained.
Thank you.
Do you have your hand up? No. Oh.
Do you know when they're going to some draft of the updated plan?
I do not. For NRPC? So, I do not. I can add that to my list and ask for an update. Probably
Just
do
have,
for that.
A couple corrections from the new guy that sent the email, but
Mhm.
he didn't reply.
I'll check on it.
First printed.
So want to make a final motion? Motion by, who made it? Gage?
Yeah.
Motion by Gage, second by Andy. All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Well, thank you. Meeting adjourned. It's 7:05. Have a great night.